So the Toronto Raptors played the Golden State Warriors for Game 4 once again in Oracle Arena. And to the shock and surprise of everyone, the Toronto Raptors managed to win Game 4. And they swept the Warriors at Oracle. Now, personally, I wasn't really sure of how this game was going to turn out because you had a lot of sites, Vegas, all the analysts, air quotes, predicting Golden State to respond and to make this, a 6 to 7 game series. But the Raptors, they came in yesterday night and just said, nope, we're taking you guys and finishing you off in Toronto. Now I was at the Pickle Barrel Bar once again, standing, watching, and really enjoying the atmosphere of the game itself. And early on, the Warriors, in typical fashion, they came out strong this game. They actually took the initiative and took the lead to the Raptors. And I think at one point they're up 13 points, but Kawhi Leonard single-handedly managed to cut that down to 6 points by the end of the first. He was basically keeping the Raptors in it offensively and defensively. We finally get to the second quarter, right? And you can already tell at this point that it's going to be a little bit of a bad shooting night for people like Lowry, Green, even Gasol to a certain extent. And, I was a little bit worried when Lowry started shooting poorly. I mean, you look at the box score, man was only 3 of 12 tonight, right? Because when Lowry scores under double digits, or for the matter, anything under 13, Raptors don't have a really solid record, right? But other members of the team managed to pick it up, so to speak. Leonard was also getting locked down a bit, but I feel like just like last game, as someone else stepped up, as time went on, the defense was forced to sag off of him, right? So throughout the second quarter, it's a bit of a back and forth. The two teams are still kind of like locked into a very, very intense scoring match. And, I didn't really, there was nothing too noticeable on Toronto. They were just keeping well within. And I thought to myself, okay, if Toronto can just come out in the third quarter and respond effectively to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, who basically played on one leg, I think. Really mad props to him coming back from an injury this quickly. Dropped 28. Early on, I was just like, is Klay going to be the undoing of the Toronto Raptors today? Like, is he really going to single-handedly win this game? Because there was no way in hell Steph Curry's going for fucking 47 supernova again. He looked... Throughout this game, he looked exhausted even after getting rest and after getting out of the locker room at the half. So we go into the third quarter, and this is where I just sat back and just enjoyed what I was seeing. The Raptors completely pull a Golden State on Golden State. They blitz them in the third quarter. Kawhi heats the fuck up. He comes out back-to-back threes to put the Raptors in the lead. And the moment he hit those back-to-back threes, the Pickle Barrel erupted in applause. I was super hyped. I was like, are we going to fucking do it? Are we actually going to do it? Right? You had people like Gasol, who he had a couple of, uh-ohs and oopsies early on, but he hit some pretty, I think he hit a clutch three. And this is what I've been saying the entire series. As long as Gasol can hit a single three in a game, right? And as long as he doesn't attempt like more than fucking 5 and make one, he is going to be effective. Now his defense, once again, really good. But tonight, or yesterday night, the MVP of the game wasn't Siakam, it wasn't Leonard, it wasn't any of the starters. It wasn't even Fred VanVleet, who played stellar defense on Steph Curry. It was Mafuzishev. It was our Serge Ibaka. The past 2 games, 2012 Serge Ibaka has returned. It's reincarnated. 6 blocks in the previous game. 20 points this game. He shoots 9 of 12. Man pulled up from 3 in transition and knocked it down. Then he ends up shooting a mid-range jumper without, the pick and pop from Lowry. And that's something that Lowry finally well, I shouldn't even say Lowry, but the Toronto offense was able to actually re-ingratiate this game. Throughout the entire series and for the most of the playoffs, that pick and pop between Lowry and Ibaka had been shut down because it was so deadly in the regular season. But, it finally saw a resurgence last night. And this just proves the worth of Lowry even more because he's the only one. I've said it so many times. He's the only one that can enable Serge Ibaka. And Serge Ibaka is an energy and rhythm player. You make him feel confident in the previous game, it's going to carry over. Let's not forget that stretch in early October where the man made 24 of 24 of his shots before missing after 27. You remember how he blew by LeBron James in that first Laker matchup? He torched his opponents. And yeah, that's Ibaka for us. So we go into the fourth quarter. Raptors have a pretty decent lead. Warriors do a couple of good plays to bring it back. But overall, what I've noticed, yesterday night was the Warriors were just completely exhausted. Boogie Cousins, like you look at the guy, a little bit better than his Game 3 performance, but just not enough. They have to manage him. He was obviously coming back from an injury. Fred VanVleet also got injured pretty badly. Lost like bits and pieces of teeth after getting inadvertently, I thought at the time was a flagrant foul, but he got elbowed inadvertently by Sean Livingston, right? Draymond Green, still really, really good for the Warriors, but 10 points ain't gonna cut it. And then you had Klay Thompson, who was like flexing. I don't even want to call it flexing. You guys saw what he did with trying to like the Russell Westbrook rockabye down in his crotch. Like, Mike, dude, come on. You don't got no big dick. You're getting fucked over. Don't flex like that until you win the damn game. But yeah, we end with a score of 105-92. This is the first time the Toronto Raptors have managed to hold Golden State to under 100 points. Think about this for a second, guys. Coming into the series, everyone was saying, if you let Golden State score above 100, you're not going to win because you're not going to be able to get into a shootout with them and destroy them and like come out on top. You're not going to be able to match and overtake their offensive firepower. Well, it looks like the Toronto Raptors have proven that wrong this series so far. They've managed to negate their offensive firepower with their defense and have enough, not more firepower at times on the offensive end. Something else that I want to bring into attention is Nick Nurse went back to the box and one strategy, which I was like super hyped about, and people are like, it's surprising that he's still, well, not even surprising, but it's admirable and quite gutsy of him to actually take these, adjustments / risks. Whereas if you had Dwayne Casey as the coach, that would have never happened. He's throwing boxes and ones, double screens, all of this unique stuff, and it's still working. So yeah, even though you had some pretty, I don't want to say this is bad shooting because we've come to expect these three starters from the Toronto Raptors to shoot like this. Green, I know he had a good game 3, but let's be real. He's like, I do not expect Danny Green to hit a consistent shot. Like, he hasn't done it throughout the entirety of the playoffs for more than 2 to 3 games, right? So that was kind of expected. Lowry, you would have liked to see a little bit more, but let's be real here. This right here, like 10 to 12 points is really his mantra. Him scoring 20 plus is like a little bit of an anomaly. Like, sometimes you'll get it. It's like, same thing with Serge. Sometimes you're going to get like his past self come out. Sometimes you won't, but it was enough. Gasol, defense, you're basically point center. But yeah, we head to Toronto, Scotiabank Arena for Game 4 this coming Monday with the chance for the Toronto Raptors to end it, to become NBA champions. And I, for one, am super excited because if they do, you can expect me out at Yonge and Dundas Square celebrating. Alright guys, I will see you after Game 5.